some cars on the road driving very slowly, fortunately, but we didn't take our chances, of course. It's just not safe to drive up here. A lot of rain and a lot of really gusty conditions. It's hard to say if we can sense if there's any rotation in our area. Again, gusty conditions, it feels like the gusts are coming from a couple of different directions. And again, with just a lot of yard debris scattered around parking lots right now. We haven't, when it's safe enough to do so, we've been kind of trying to drive around to see if there is any damage. I haven't seen any major damage yet. Of course, once these driving conditions get a little bit better, we'll try to scour a little bit more. As I was driving north on the turnpike to get here, though, incredibly dark, low clouds to the west of the turnpike and the interstate. I'm sure you've probably been seeing those yourself. I've had some friends and contacts texting me pictures of what looks like those really low clouds that are almost reaching toward the ground. Steve and John, I'm sure you could give us more context into what that really means. But yeah, it's certainly a wild day of weather up here, one that we hope everyone is staying inside and staying safe and hopefully staying off these roads.
Yeah, definitely just a really nasty day out there. Not everyone's seeing the intense rainfall. In fact, as we zoom on out, we did pick up some very heavy rain earlier into southern Palm Beach County, but that's about it. No rain so far today from Boynton through West Palm and up into the Gardens. But there is a cell that is working its way towards the western parts of our suburbs into West Palm Beach, close to Wellington. It is not to the. We do have some heavy rain. Intense rain heading in your southern boulevard right there. It's certainly some lightning strikes, winds at about 30 to 40 miles an hour. But the one that we've been tracking now since earlier today is this cell right here. Fort Pierce area. Fort Pierce, you are no longer in the polygon. Notice how that polygon has shrunk. So the polygon for the tornado warning, the one in red, has gotten considerably smaller, but it still includes Port St. Lucie. As we zoom on in, you can see where it includes. It includes Ancona and Collins Parks Estate, Highway 1 and West Midway Road. So that's where we're seeing the very intense rainfall right now. All right, so we have some video from Fort Pierce. John, can you see the video? You have your glasses on?
I do. Yeah, I can see some dark-looking skies out there, and looks like the wind is blowing up pretty good as well. The storm clouds have gathered there in Fort Pierce, seeing flashes of lightning there as well. Folks at home can probably see that off to the side out there. Yeah, it's a very dark-looking sky. It looks like either, boy, it's hard to say if that's a funnel cloud or what that is exactly out there. But it's a time lapse from Kristen Wilkinson. Thank you so much for that. If you're going to shoot this video, by the way, do so from a safe place. Never put yourself in harm's way. But we appreciate the viewer video there from St. Lucie County. And yeah, very intense storm clouds out that way toward Fort Pierce. So we can switch over to Max 2 for just a minute. I want to show you our camera from St. Lucie. This is from Port St. Lucie, Southport Middle. You just look at those dark clouds looking out that way. You folks have, the storm is on the way. It's actually St. Lucie Nuclear Power Plant in about 5 minutes from now. St. Lucie River Park as well by about the 7:10. Then Port St. Lucie and Walton by about 7:20. So somebody give me a time check in my ear. What time is it exactly right now? I don't have a clock in front of me. We've got, it's 7:06, so in about 14 minutes or so, this is going to be right over you in Port St. Lucie, and that tornado warning is in effect. So you need to take cover immediately. You can maybe leave your TV on, but keep the sound up so you can hear what we're saying and get away from all windows and doors. Get to an interior room. In the middle of the room, maybe the bathroom or a closet somewhere, and follow the instructions as we kind of get you through this here in Port St. Lucie. The tornado warning until 7:15 or so again, and then Port St. Lucie, this storm is going to be near you and Walton by about 7:20. I want to go ahead and show you again. This is the polygon, we call it the red polygon. That's the actual warning until 7:15. It might be extended farther. We'll have to wait and see. Again, it was Doppler radar indicated. We haven't had a visual on this yet, but you saw some of those dark clouds. You saw the shot from Fort Pierce. You heard what Megan McRoberts was reporting as well, just north up there on the turnpike. And this is again, the indication of where it's headed off to the southeast at about 15 to 20 miles an hour. That's a look at the radar right around Fort Pierce. Just a tremendous amount of lightning and torrential, blinding downpours there. No doubt going to be causing some flash flooding here. That's probably the next warning or advisory that will be issued because of all the rain that fell on Saturday from the tropical weather system. But moving toward the the barrier islands now, and then up toward Hutchison Island, and then off the coast, and eventually out to sea. Indian, you're under the tornado warning as well. Fort Pierce, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. A little bit farther south, we're tracking some showers and storms as the sea breeze collisions take place. See those little blue squiggly lines just kind of crashing into these thunderstorms, and they bounce off each other, and they cause all kinds of weird directions on these storms. But generally, the mid-level winds are out of the west. So what originally blew inland as the sea breeze developed turned around and started heading back right during the late afternoon heat and the humidity here. So they really exploded. But if you track the lightning, which is something I prefer to do in severe weather events, you get a chance to see the intensity of the storms, whether they're weakening, which way they're actually moving. You take off all the colors and the rain, and you look at the actual core of the storm itself, and it looks like this will be off the coast in about the next 20 minutes or so. But everybody around Port St. Lucie, maybe on down towards Stewart as well, you got to take cover right now for the possibility of severe weather and maybe even a tornado in the next 5 or 10 minutes or so, and also those storms out west in western portions of Palm Beach County. They are beginning to close in on some of the western suburbs of Palm Beach County as well, something we're keeping an eye on as well. And Steve, as you mentioned, once we lose the heating of the day or begin to in the next hour or so, things should really wind on down. But right now, a very dangerous situation for southeastern portions of St. Lucie County.
Yeah, I'm looking at the winds on velocity, and it looks like it is getting a little bit weaker. So that's some good news there. If you want to pop up Viper, that's where we are tracking this. So notice how in the earlier frames, how bright the reds were right there. That was the really intense winds, and it looks like it is starting to get a little bit weaker. So we'll see if the National Weather Service continues the tornado warning past 7:15. But for now, if you are in Port St. Lucie, you definitely want to, again, get into your safe space, because we do have this terrible little storm system working its way southward. This is from Collins Park Estates down into River Park into Port St. Lucie, and right around southeast Walton Road and over towards it's getting a little bit weaker. So that's the good news, and we'll continue to monitor it, and we'll continue to see if the Weather Service extends this past 7:15. But at least it's not as intense as it was just a couple of minutes ago. But we're still seeing for sure the huge rainfall and all of the lightning strikes. You can see how many lightning strikes do we have right now? Over 200. So 240 lightning strikes with these cells as they move across St. Lucie County. So these storms are definitely packing a big time punch. We'll go back to radar and show you how intense the rain is coming down. We're talking rainfall rates of anywhere from 1 to 2 to possibly 3 inches per hour. We saw the blinding rainfall earlier from some of our traffic cams along the turnpike. And in situations like this, you definitely do not want to be out on the roadways, because it's very difficult to see, very difficult to drive. Always a good idea to just pull over, get off the exit ramp, and find a safe space to just hang out until all of this gets a little bit better. So the polygon, once again, has gotten a little bit smaller, so they continue to shrink the polygon. So you can see as the system works its way farther south, you can see how the polygon continues to get smaller and smaller, but they still have that tornado warning that does run through 7:15. That's for the next 4 minutes. Is there anything on the chat, John, about what the Weather Service is thinking about extending the warning?
The tornado warning, Steve, is going to be allowed to expire, but a new severe thunderstorm warning might be issued. They say the storm is not showing rotation at this point. There could be a little bit of what they call velocity contamination on Melbourne's radar. Since this begins to pull farther and farther away from Melbourne's radar, we get what we call contamination on the radar. The beam kind of overshoots because of the angle and the curvature of the Earth. So something, the radar becomes a little less reliable from that distance. It's getting into the range of our own radar, our own local radar, and also the one out of PBIA. So we're going to kind of switch over and probably start tracking it from there as it's moving farther and farther away from the Melbourne radar. It's heading into an unfavorable environment, though, which is important. As it approaches storms to the south, they kind of rob the strength from each other. And so it's not likely that we're going to see any more tornadoes out of this cell. But we could see a lot of strong gusty winds as these storms to the south collide with the storms coming in from the north. And so that's the reason why they say a new severe thunderstorm warning might be forthcoming here in the next few minutes, Steve.